Hi there, my name is Julie Russi. I'm the founder of Six Figure Esthetician Virtual Courses. So first to tell you a little bit about me before we dive into some of the material that I would love to share with you today. I'm a licensed medical esthetician. I've owned and operated my own spa. I've worked at medical spas. I'm also a product formulator. I have my own skincare line. So I also have a realm of experience. I also have an extensive background in employment law and also worked as an HR director for many years. So I do understand the business side of owning and operating a spa, as well as just being in there and working it day in and day out. So moving forward, I also offer courses to those who are interested in the skincare industry, and I offer courses for licensed medical estheticians licensed estheticians to help grow them in their career, help them feel more confident in the treatment room. So all of my courses can also be found through skincoachjulie.com. And I can talk to you a little bit more about that later, but let's dive into the material because I'm so excited to share with you a little bit of free training today. We're going to talk about crucial game-changing steps that you can utilize throughout your client consultation as a spa professional. Now, as an esthetician, I do have a consultation course that's very specific to estheticians, but what I did is I tried to put together what are the most crucial things that we can all utilize during client consultations for any spa professional. So whether you are an esthetician or perhaps you're doing hair, you're doing nails, there's a lot of different things that we can do in the spa industry. And I'm a firm believer that no matter what we're doing in this industry, consultations are absolutely such a crucial part of building that relationship, opening up those communication lines, and really just setting yourself up for success. Looking at a new client that it's a long-term picture versus that one client that pays you for that one service and they're out the door and we never see them again. So we absolutely don't want that to happen, right? And it's also a chance for us to educate our clients as well and stop thinking of ourselves as salespeople, but really just getting in there and delivering some really good education to our clients. And I think with that, it just comes down to really changing your mindset as well. So let's dive in a little bit further. The first tip, and I wrote some notes out here, so I'm going to kind of just be looking back and forth. But just to kind of give you a picture, I put together 7 altogether that are going to be what I think is going to be very helpful. Some of this you might already do. Some of it might be new to you. Totally fine. And wherever you're at within your journey or within your career. So the first one that I want to talk about is actually the greeting, the welcome, the first impression. What all does that entail? One of the things that a famous quote that always comes in my mind, and I think that this should just really be like the heart of everything that you do through a client consultation, and always remember this, is that people don't remember everything that you said. They remember the way that you made them feel. So a client can walk out of a consultation and absolutely remember tidbits that you said throughout the consult. But the biggest piece that I want you to take away from this is that client is going to remember the exact way that they felt, that you made them feel during that consultation. So that's something really important to keep in mind there. Human connection is just absolutely that vital piece of the first time that we interact with our clients. So do show some of your personality, be a little bit of yourself, be a professional, but also be yourself. And another thing that comes to mind under the actual greeting is greet them by their first name. Now, greeting somebody by their first name is an extremely powerful thing to do. I think so often when we have clients that keep on coming back, we slip into this pattern of sometimes honey or just little pet names, and they might be cute and all of that. But at the end of the day, calling somebody by their first name, not only is it professional and sets you up as a professional, it also is a very, very powerful thing it's a very powerful way to interact with another human being. Call them by their first name, and always, if it's a new client, make sure that you introduce yourself by your first name as well. When they arrive, be very specific. You don't know when that client's coming in. You're working from, hopefully from client to client. When that client walks in the door, you don't know what they're walking in from, right? You don't know if they've had a really stressful day, what they're, what if they're coming off of work, if they just got off a stressful drive, there was a lot of traffic, a stressful phone call. You don't really know, right? So you want to make sure that you're very inviting when you first interact with this client. You want to give them a really positive, uplifting greeting, making them feel very welcome, utilizing your body language, doing little things like leaning into them. All these little subtle cues will absolutely be picked up on by your client. One of the things that I like to do right away with all my clients is make sure that they're offered a glass of water, refreshments, especially if you're finishing up with somebody else. Make sure that there's a way that they can get offered some different things to make them feel comfortable. And if it's you that's offering to them, if you're in the position that you're offering that to them, wonderful. Another thing that I like to do is be very specific with them, because they're coming out from like the rat race of everything else in the world, and you want them to feel calm in your spa environment for whatever service that they're coming in for. So besides the water and the refreshments, be very clear with them. Give them very clear directions, whether, hey, Sue, I'm going to have you go back to the room, and I'd like you to get, changed from, keep everything on from the waist down. If it's coming in for, if it's a skincare client, show them the robe, make sure they know exactly how to put it on. The more specific you can be with them, the better, because they're going to feel like they're getting this very customized, unique interaction with you, and they want to feel very, very taken care of. So any way that you can go above and beyond outside of your box to make that client feel comfortable from the first time that they come in, and if that's that first meeting, you're setting that really good first impression that you really care about them. You want them to feel comfortable in your environment, and you're letting them know things like, here's some water if you need this, or you need XYZ, please let me know. Here's the bathroom. I'm going to be with you in 5 minutes. Anything that you can do to be extremely specific is very helpful. And it really sets the tone of how you handle your business, right? So that's the first one, the greeting, the welcome, the first impression. Obviously, there's so much more that goes with that, but that's just some of the crucial things that in my experience, I think that can be very helpful. And little things do make a huge, huge difference. Okay, so the second one that I want to talk to you about for a client consultation is the intake form. No matter what you're doing in the spa, please have an intake form, and let the intake form be a tool to guide you through that consultation. The way that I have my intake form set up is I have questions specifically written out on that intake that helps guide that consultation, that whole process, that whole conversation. So that's really, really important. Now, when you're going through that intake form with your client, and I'm going to say, go through it with your client. Don't have them to do an intake form and just put it on the side no matter what the service is. This is going to make them, again, feel like you're taking the time to get to know them and understand their concerns and understand their goals, right? So you want to make sure that you're asking a lot of questions. And at the same time, this is helping you put together a plan in your head, whether it's finding out what some of the right indications would be for treatments, or what they're going to be contraindicated for different treatments too. And I know some different services are going to be more extensive than others as far as finding out information. But again, make sure you have that form set up where it really just guides that very good conversation between the two of you, because that's again, the first impression, moving back to that, and a way to really interact successfully with your client. So find out what their goals are. That's just a huge, huge piece of that. What is their routine? What kind of routine do they have in the morning? What kind of routine do they have in the evening? What products are they currently using, right? So whether it's skin products, hair products, nails, whatever, like find out what they're actually doing. And it kind of gives you a better idea of, okay, now these are the goals. And now how can I put all of this big picture together to get them to the goals and set yourself up in a way that you can educate them as well. So again, it's a chance to get to know them. You want to find out, the allergies, their history, their lifestyle, all of that, just to paint a really, really clear picture. It helps you understand, again, what's going to be the best service or what the best treatment plan is going to be for them, and help set up those expectations. And lastly, do not rush the process. Take your time through that process. And, I've had clients feel them out. I can tell sometimes they might feel a little fidgety at first during that consultation process, but I can tell you as it goes on, and when I get to the point where I recommend a treatment plan and I'm setting up all of those steps, that client absolutely thanks me each and every time that I took that time out of my day. I set it aside for them to truly get to know them and give them the best results possible. It sets you apart. Okay, the next tip I have is listening. And I think whenever I hear the word listening, I automatically think of the book, The Art of Listening. And I read that years ago back in college. And I know it's just still such a popular book, The Art of Listening. And it really, truly is an art. Be a good listener during your consultation. Make sure that you're not the one doing all the talking, but you're also doing a lot of prompting questions as well. If you've got someone who's a little bit more quiet or on the shy side and that's not willing to talk as much, utilize those prompting questions. Get your clients talking and be a good listener. In ways that we can show to our clients that we're being a listener are things of all those little nonverbal cues. So taking notes, get a pen out, take a note, actively show them that you're taking notes. Even if you've already made conclusions in your head of what the treatment needs to be, take notes, have eye contact. Eye contact is so powerful. So you really want to make sure that you have a lot of direct eye contact. Doing things even like head nods, knowing that you're listening, you're leaning in, are all signs of showing your client that they have your 100% undivided attention, okay? And you're completely devoted to giving them the best service possible by just listening to them at this point. So be very obvious about it, that you are listening. And this is their moment to just let them get out whatever is bothering them, whether it's about their hair, their skin, their nails, whatever they came in for. This is the moment to let them just talk about what is really bothering them, what their actual concerns are. Okay? So moving on, the next tip that I have is understand your client's goals and set the right expectations. I think so often unhappy clients down the road are never set the right expectations from the consultation. So the better job that we can do to understand our clients and understand their goals, the better job we can do as professionals to set what the expectations are. So be clear how you will get your clients an end result. Be very clear about it. And if it's not possible, don't be shy about it. Let them know that that's not realistic. But this is what we can do. And let your clients know, if they're coming in for skin or acne treatments or they're fighting the aging process. We'll dive into skin a little bit. A lot of clients don't know. They don't consume skin in the way that estheticians do, and really, truly just need to be told the expectations of, your skin is not going to be completely clear after one treatment. This is going to take time. And it's also a chance to let them know that, a lot of your results also come from the things that you do at home, in addition to what we do here at the spa or in the treatment room. So getting them on board with whatever home care that they need to do as well is extremely powerful. So ask a lot of questions again. So for example, if you've got somebody that's very quiet, you can ask them things like, if there was one thing I can do to make you happier with your skin, with your nails, with your hair, if there's one thing that I could do, what would that be? So that's a great question if you're going through the consultation and they're just not opening up to something that's bothering them, and you need to ask a prompting question. And sometimes you still don't get answers from asking prompting questions either. And that's also very realistic too. And so maybe it just kind of goes back into, so you know what, Sue, what really brings you in today? You know, or sometimes I've even had to go as far as, when you look in the mirror and you have to pick one thing that really bothers you or one thing that you really want to improve, what would that be? Sometimes you just have to circle around it and try different questions to get them really talking, because we really want to focus as professionals on what their primary concerns are. So often I have clients that come in and I see one thing. I see one thing, one focus that I know that is so standing out to me that I think that that's the thing that I want to start treating first. But they'll say to me, Julie, you know what? It's really not the fact that I'm getting older. It's just these, breakouts that are bothering me so much. And that's fine. But listen to your clients and understand what their primary concerns are, so you can set, again, those expectations for what their primary concerns are, and understand what their actual goals are in this case, right? Okay. So, and then again, clearly identifying the goals by prompting them with questions. So sometimes it's more they might come in for an experience and they're really not sure. And that's another third way of a client might come in. Maybe it's their first facial. Maybe it's their first time getting their nails done. Maybe it's, whatever. It could just be the first time and they're just there for the experience and they don't really know what to expect yet. So we have to do a really good job of asking what some of those prompting questions are. And sometimes it's multiple concerns. And can things be treated with multiple concerns? Absolutely. For example, like aging and acne, sometimes there's crossover and can be treated, but you still want to make sure that you understand what the primary concern is or what the primary focus is. Explain what can be accomplished, whether it's going to be, again, we kind of touched on this a little bit before, but can this be accomplished with them coming in for one service, 3 services, or are you thinking it's going to take a series of services, a longer series of services, like 6 series? So that's another time to start educating your clients and getting them in on the same page with you when it comes to coming in with a series. Things are going to take a little bit of time, but I absolutely believe we can make some improvements. We can, you can use a lot of different buzzwords, but you want to under promise and over deliver. Trust me, that's like always the best way to go about that, right? Okay. So, and lastly, the more clear that you are with your clients, the happier that you're going to be. So take the time, tell them what those expectations are, be very clear about it. Don't rush that process. All right. Number 5, the actual analysis. I don't care what you're doing in the spa, do some kind of analysis. And I know, as estheticians, of course, we always do a skin analysis. But no matter what you're doing as a spa professional, so important to do an analysis. Let them know, I'd love to I know you booked us this service today, but I'd love to take a look before, we decide if this is the right service. Because sometimes we can divvy off from that. Sometimes we may want to offer a different treatment plan or a different service to get them to the results and the end goal that they're looking for. So let them know that you'd like to take a look, and take your time. Like I said, even if you've already made conclusions and you already know in your head what you want to do, just take your time. Always still do the analysis. It's also the first time that you're touching that client. And touch is so powerful with human connection. It also gives them a chance to kind of let them know what your touch is. And for them to also get a level of comfortability with that as well. It also establishes yourself as a professional too, which is really important. It's also a time you can discuss products again. We discussed some of that going through the intake form, but it's another time, tell me more about a little bit about your routine. Tell me exactly what you're doing in the morning. Tell me exactly what you're doing before you go to bed. Where do you buy your products at? It's a time to just kind of dig in to that history a little bit more, and they become a little bit more comfortable when you're touching them as well. You can find out also if there's someone who likes to do the bare minimum. They don't like to do a lot of steps, or they're open to doing a lot of steps, which really helps you to help design that effective treatment plan. And it's another opportunity during the analysis, just like going through the intake form, just like all this discussion through the consultation, it's another opportunity to offer suggestions that are going to tie in with your basic treatment plan that you'll be going over at the end. Okay. The next tip, having a plan. And here we go. Examples, having a plan. Don't let them walk out without, you've done a consultation, and don't let them walk out with not letting them know what your treatment plan is going to be to get them the results that they're looking for from A to Z, and setting all those expectations. Make the recommendations, educate. Don't think about yourself as a salesperson. Get out all the products that you believe are going to be beneficial to them, and maybe go through 2 or 3 key things in that product that's going to pertain to them exactly and their goals exactly, to help achieve them reach those goals and move them through that process. Okay, that's extremely important. And always ask if they have any questions. I always ask that throughout. You want to keep checking, if there's anything I can answer for you. Do you have any concerns? Do you have any questions? Be very attentive to their needs, and also, do a good job of trying to pick up on their nonverbal cues as well. If they're starting to back off a little bit, they're starting to look off a little bit, just kind of stop what you're doing and make sure, I know this can be very overwhelming. Is there any questions that you might have? Slow things down if you need to be. Okay. The last thing is booking your client. Now, when you book your client, you want to make sure that at that time, because we don't want bookings to fall off, right? And little things that you can do before they walk out the door when you're booking that client is absolutely going to help them keep that first appointment too. So things like little reminder cards, if you can give them right there. If you're going to send them up on a text message, ask them if they like text or email for a reminder. Those are simple things that you can do that'll help make them show for that first appointment. Prepping instructions for their first service. Let's say you've recommended a series of treatments. Now, one of the things that I like to do is if I'm doing lasers or IPL, microneedling, or even just facials, peels, I send all my clients home with their take-home instructions. Take-home instructions, how to prep your skin for your service. Now, I don't care what you do in the spa industry, and it can be so basic if it needs to be, and if that's what the prepping is for your service, but give them some kind of instructions to take home. I know, for example, I need to get my color done again, but the girl that colors my hair, she actually does this for me. She gives me little take home card with instructions of recommendations of shampoos, conditioners, conditioning mask that she wants me to use in between treatments to help strengthen my hair and prep it for the actual color. Now that's the same. It's so funny to me because it's the same exact thing that I do with my clients. So whether we're prepping for peels or lasers or what have you, I'm pretty much ultimately all having them strengthen the barrier function of their skin. Sometimes if they're a higher Fitzpatrick level or higher skin tone, I'm having them use lighteners. And, that's a whole, I don't know if everybody, watching this training is an esthetician, but it's so important that we want to always prep before we start that service. So give them a little take home sheet So many clients are so appreciative of that. Make it super, super simple with your instructions. You can also give them like things like a product list too of products that you might recommend. Or if you're retailing your own products, this is a time for you to also retail your products, get them on the home care, help them understand that how important home care is to their results in addition with their professional treatments. Give them a little routine cheat sheet. I always like to give a little like, hey, this is your cheat sheet for your skincare for your morning routine, your PM routine. You know, if you're a person that can do a lot of steps, I usually do like 5 steps for the morning, 5 steps for the evening. If they're not a person that does steps, I'll start them out perhaps on like 2 steps in the morning, a step at night, and, you know, we just kind of build on it from there. But physically give that to them to take home. Those are little things that just remind them of you, remind them of the consultation, all the work that you put into it, how special it was, how unique it was, and just how customized it really was for the service it is that they're coming in for. Another thing that I like to do, I never am stingy about samples, okay? And I think that we all can relate when we go into a spa and we feel like we walk out with nothing, no samples, nothing. And I can tell you, I can't even count how many times that's happened to me. And it feels really, really discouraging. You know, little things like getting samples from your vendors go a long way. So, and it also helps you establish yourself as a professional, which I keep saying is so important, but it also helps you get them on that retail train and buying those retail products from you, which puts in turn more money in our pocket. And I always say at the end of the day, it's a job. So how can we leverage getting the most money through professional services and our retail services as well? So that probably got a little bit more lengthy than I had planned, but those are my 7 tips to hopefully help your consultation process. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have questions. I can be reached at support@skincoachjulie.com. And if you're interested again in checking out any of my courses, you don't have to be an esthetician. If maybe you're looking to break into the field and you're wanting to learn more, maybe you're a cosmetologist, anybody can take my courses. Those can be found at skincoachjulie.com. I sell a bundle package, all 4 courses for $197. I do consultation skin analysis, ingredient expert, mastering skin conditions and treatments, and the last one, acne solutions, because there's so much to know about acne. So hopefully you'll take a look at my courses. And like I said, I'm happy to help you. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. All right. It's been a pleasure. Thanks all. Bye.